Okay, so I had a good question yesterday from a learner who rang me up and said, I've been looking at your website. I like the deals that you do, the intensive course, and I bet the other packages you've got. But I've been looking around the website, and I just want to sort of know from you directly whether who who decides when I go to test. Is it you or is it me? And I said, which is interesting because I mean I'll have to make this clearer on the website, and this is why I'm doing this video now, and I'll stick it up on the Facebook page. Ultimately, it's him. He decides. Any of you decide when you go to test, because ultimately you can take your test in your own car. You don't have to be in a driving school car, and so the point at which you go to test is really up to you. As is everything about learning to drive, is ultimately it's up to you. So how often you do lessons, what duration, how much money you're going to spend in getting yourself prepared for the test. This all comes down to you. How long it takes. And what I could say and what I said to this chap yesterday was, I had a person come to me fairly recently, and he said to me, Tom, could you come out with me? I just want to know what your opinion is of my standard of driving. I want to take the test, and he had it even booked. He had his test booked. I want to take the test then, on such and such a date, in my car, but I just want you to see what my driving is. And so I went out with this chap, and we came up with a plan of action as to what needs to be done. And he then went to test. It happened to be 2 days ago, and he passed first time. And that's an example of somebody who is completely taking it for themselves as to how they go about doing this. And I'm happy to fit in with that approach as well. What's really, really important is the test standard, isn't it? Knowing what the test standard is and knowing how your ability fits into that test standard. Because you have a choice, really. You can say to a driving instructor like me, you can say, can you tell me when you think I should go to test? Or you can say, as this chap did, I want to go test at this time, and I want to make that decision myself, and I want to sort it out myself. And that's entirely up to you. But like anything, really, I mean, one of my nippers started swimming lessons a while ago now, and he turned up on one session, and it turned out to be a test, and he failed this test. He's 6, he was when this happened, not that long ago, and he was really felt really disappointed, really upset because he failed this test. All of his mates all going around with these certificates, and there was my nipper, and he didn't know there was a test on. He didn't know what the requirement was for that test, and so when the test cropped up, he had no idea what the standard was and how to achieve it. And when the feedback came, because they they gave him a sheet of paper saying, where there were crosses where he'd failed this test, and I'm reading this bit of paper, and for the life of me, I couldn't make out even what it was talking about, the things, the criteria. So he didn't want to go to swimming lessons after that. So I know this is just a sort of simple example with my nipper with swimming lessons, but in a lot of ways it's a good example of how it can go wrong. The process of getting yourself ready for a test, how it can go wrong. It's important to know what the standard is required, and I've got loads of videos up on there on my site for the test standard, and as well as how you're fitting into that, and so. The syllabus, proposed syllabus, it's not. I'm not forcing anything on anyone, but the proposed syllabus that's in your driver's pack, and that's on my blog as well. A copy of that is on my blog. That is available to you right from the word go. From day one, you can start plotting where your ability is in relation to the test standard. So that opportunity is available to you if you wanted to do that yourself. The two considerations with regards to a driving instructor, or let's talk about me, because not all driving instructors have the same approach on this, but let's talk about my approach on it. One is, if you're going to take my use my car for a test, then I want to know, just from a business point of view, that you're not going to either wreck the car or injure yourself or injure anyone else, including the examiner. So just from that aside alone, just the safety side of it, that's one aspect as to whether I will allow you to use the car for the test. And the other aspect of it, which people I don't think really think about an awful lot, is my actual reputation from the business that I'm running. Do I really want to be associated with people that are going to test and failing and failing and failing and failing? Oh yeah, oh, was that big Tom driving school? Yeah, I've heard about him. Yeah. Do you know, I don't know anyone who's passed with that guy yet. You know, that's an extreme example. And pass rates, pass rates in themselves should not be a deciding factor. But it is something that I need to be aware of. It's something that I need to. For instance, I monitor it. I monitor how many of my people pass first time, and I also monitor how long it takes me to get my people to pass from absolute beginners. So it's important measurements, because ultimately, because people do ask me that when they ring me up and they say, Tom, da 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 da. The questions they ask me are those two are big there, as high up on the list. So it is important, you know. I can't be reckless with this. I've got to be sort of consider not just your aspects and your desires to get pass your test as soon as you can. Maybe that might be your approach, but also, you know, I am running a business as well, and I can't just literally be reckless with that, you know, because some people say, oh well, the experience of doing the test and failing is not necessarily a bad one, and I'd agree with that as well. You know, that it's not necessarily bad. It can knock confidence, and if you were to then follow it up with another test fail soon afterwards, that does start eroding confidence. So doesn't mean to say that we can all start going to test and what will be will be. I wouldn't say that's a sensible approach, but we need to strike a balance really. So the ultimate answer to the person that asked me this question yesterday was, yeah, you are deciding when you want to test. Ultimately, you can decide when you want to go to test. And if you would prefer not to do that and you want me to do that on your behalf, I'm able to do that. I'm very, very in line with what the test standard is. I know that I am bang on in terms of the pitching, knowing what the criteria is for passing the test. I'm absolutely bang on, so I can pull on that experience and assist you in deciding when is the correct time.